Good afternoon. I was about to say good morning once again, because that's what seems to happen every single Sunday. And I keep moving sorry, I keep moving this. All right. We should be having a wonderful session today, or at least one that is going to help a lot of people understand a little bit more. And food for thought, really. Hey, Jared, welcome, sweetheart. It's lovely to see you. Hello, hello, hello. Is that Shay? I think that's Shay. I can't see just yet who is here. Yes, it is Shay. Lovely to see you as well, my dear. Welcome. And everybody else who is joining. Oh, happy full moon and eclipse, by the way. You know, I took the last couple of days to truly get as much rest as I possibly could. So finally today I'm feeling like, I'm feeling better. You know, I'm not as drained, which is nice. Hey, Jessica, sweetheart. Oh, it's so lovely to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Alrighty. So let's get, I know more people are going to be joining us as we proceed onward, but let's get started as best as we can so we have as much time as we have. Now, today's class is going to be all about becoming a healer, because oftentimes on our spiritual awakening journey, literally that's one of the highest callings that we have, or a very deep calling that we have. As we learn to heal ourselves, we have a natural instinct to want to heal other people. Right? We want to share all of this new energy and the beautiful feelings that we're feeling as we're progressing on. So, of course, we look to share this. Now, a lot of individuals, though, what I do come across is whenever they are at this stage of wanting to share their experiences, share their energy, and to heal other people, one of the main things that comes up is, I don't know if I can do this. I've never done this before. How do I actually heal another person? I know I can do it with myself, but how do I do it there? Or they look at healers who have been established for quite some time, and their confidence drops because they're like, well, I can't do what she does. I can't do what he does. They're amazing. I'm not like that. So they lose confidence and kind of go back into their shell, be like, no, that's fine. I'll sit over here. Or they simply just don't have a lot of energy where a substantial difference is made within one of the individuals that they are trying to heal. So then they think like, oh, well, it doesn't really work as well, or so forth. So let's go through this today, right? Because that natural call for you to heal another individual is so very important. Whether you do it on the side, whether you do it full time, whether you just simply do it because as a residual effect of you just being yourself, it doesn't matter. If you have a natural call that you want to heal and help individuals, well, let's get that sorted out today. Hey there, Christy. Happy Sunday to you as well, my dear. Welcome, honey bun. Okay, so firstly, one of the main things to understand about being a healer is you have to know who you are and your abilities that you entail, right? So many individuals, like I mentioned, so many people look at healing with energy, or being a healer in general, as, oh no, it is down one specific lane. And Reiki, we'll use Reiki as an example. You know, a lot of people think like, okay, this is what healing is. When you hover your hands over and you can manipulate the energy, you can find things, that's what a healer is. Well, not necessarily. And this is coming from an indoctrination or an ingrained perspective of what health and healing is, right? So firstly, let's have a look at what that actually means. You know, to heal somebody is to put them back in a place of ease. Because truly, if somebody needs healing, something inside of them, emotionally, mentally, physically, is not in a place of ease, right? Or it's not in a place of free flowing. So you don't just have to be a Reiki healer or somebody who manipulates energy and moves it around. You don't have to just be an empath alone, or for myself, you know, a cognizant healer or a mental healer at the same time, right? There's so many different ways to do this. However, to know exactly what kind of healer you are, you need to know who you are, right? Your abilities and how your energy works, right? So again, like I say, if if you were a heart cell, right, and you knew how to heal hearts, right, why are we going to try to tell the liver cells how to heal liver cells? Liver cells work differently. You know, they need different components to heal. So again, if you're a heart cell, you can definitely heal a lot of other heart cells versus trying to heal other things that may not align with you. Michelle, hi, sweetheart. If I may speak from my own personal experience, what I've learned is to truly heal all the reflections of yourself, you must start within you. When you found healing challenging, it's an opportunity to go back within. Just my opinion. Yes, definitely. And that's where we comes to, of course, knowing yourself, right? And this is where all healers will start, because you cannot learn to heal other people with your energy if you don't know yourself. So that's a great point. Well done. Okay, so know who you are and your abilities and how your energy works. Now, I'll give you a couple of examples. If you do not know yourself already, if you don't know what kind of abilities that you have and how they already work, I definitely highly recommend you have a look into that first. I've done definitely a few classes on learning your abilities, how to identify them, to see like, holy shit, is this what I do? And if you do identify them, make a list of them and actively start using them. All right? The more you use it, the more you understand it, the more you flow with it, and the more you're like, oh, I know where to go. So, but I'll give you a couple of examples. Hey, Marie there. Hey, Karen. Welcome, honey buns. So a couple of examples that I will use. If you're an empath, because I'm not going to say if, most of everybody is an empath, right? That's just how we work. But an empath is going to be able to heal individuals by manipulating the pathways of the emotions as where they're going. So that would be a healer of the heart, right? Of the heart's emotions. Now, if you are clairsentient, this is where you are no doubt empathic and also clairsentient. You will find that Reiki no doubt suits you very well, because not only are you able to feel the individual's emotions and how they're feeling, but you're able to use your sentience to conduct the flow of energy as to where it is going internally and externally. Now, if you are a claircognizant person, just like myself, you will be able to find the pathways as to how is this person thinking, right? Where are these? Because the emotions, of course, their emotions are going to bring up within them thoughts to go along with them. So, for example, if you are angry, you are going to attach that anger to a thought or to an experience and so forth. A claircognizant individual will help you understand where it comes in. So much like a therapist, if you want to put it that way. Not like a therapist. I shouldn't say that. A therapist is a layman's or a therapist will have to identify through coaching you through it, whereas a cognizant individual will simply ask the question, why are you angry? And the energy will come in and be able to direct you straight to where you need to be, right? So again, helping to heal the mind and understand within awareness what's going on, all right? So, and an Orstinant individual will be a healer that helps you within your flow and how you move. You know, if you have Orstinance, you're going to be able to help people get a move on. So, for example, if somebody's coming to you because they have physical pain and maybe or depression or so forth, and you're Orstinant, you'd simply be like, all right, well, what do you want? And as you're asking this individual what do they want and they're expressing it to you, you can help find those timelines and then be like, okay, this is what we need to do now to move to get to that point. So and that can come out in any way. That could be like, all right, I need you to do 5 jumping jacks if you can. And then this is going to head you on. Okay, that was a terrible example. it's much more complex than that, but you know, we only have so much time. Hey there, Orton, sweetheart. Welcome, honey bun. So this is so again, each individual ability has its own design on how it heals. The more you know about that, the faster you will understand how you actually heal. Now, step number 2 is you gotta know, why do you actually want to heal other people? What benefit does your being have in healing other people? Now, you may think like, well, Kulip, that's such an obvious answer. I want to heal people because it feels good, you know. But you also have to ask yourself why. Healing people, healing other individuals is a journey as well. It requires you to expend a lot more energy, a lot more time, and a lot more focus. And a lot of the times, you're not going to be physically compensated within that. Now, we'll get to the compensation part afterwards. But whilst you're doing it, there has to be a pretty strong reason and strong resolve as to why you are doing this, why you are expending more energy to heal another individual. So, and what that benefit, what that true benefit comes to you. Now, I'll give you my example. Karen, why me? Why? Because it feels natural and drawn to it. Exactly. But why are you drawn to it? Go a little bit deeper underneath the surface, right? Because it's kind of the same way, and I'll say this as well, because you know when you're empathic and you're drawn to help people, you're drawn to heal them, but then you find you give away way too much energy, you're physically drained, and then now you want to recluse yourself, or you get hurt very easily because you are lax on your boundaries as an empath. That feeling to draw towards them, to heal people or to help people as an empath will still be really strong. And this is where a lot of people get into the slumps, right? Where they start to curse their ability and say, gosh, I'm so sensitive, and and they're exhausted all the time. But then again, we have to know, well, what is the actual benefit, right, underneath the surface? So I used to, and I'll give you my example. When I first became a healer, and my empathy was just so strong and so sensitive for my level at that time, I was same thing. I was very, very much so drawn to talk to people, to help them out, to give them solutions. You know, my cognizance was at an all-time, well, not an all-time high, but for that level, it was stronger than I've ever received or felt it at that time. So I found that I was naturally drawn to a lot of people. However, I was the same way. I was exhausted, you know, and I couldn't quite understand, I'm still drawn to everybody. I can't seem to say no when it comes to offering people my time and my energy. But now I recognize, well, really, what is the benefit to me for this? When I am in control of my abilities, when I am in awareness and understanding of my true inherent ability, it came to the conclusion that I actually gain energy when I'm operating my healing within a state of awareness. Not just blatantly handing it out to anybody and everybody, using my discernment to understand who needs healing, where they need healing, why they need healing at that time, so that I can get an appropriate energy exchange. Because as I would heal individuals, hey Sandra, sweetheart, as I would heal individuals, the knowledge that I was acquiring from doing this, from getting out there, was coming back to me, and I was able to increase my awareness and also increase my energetic capacity. If I didn't know this, right? If I didn't know this part of myself, I would have been lost to anybody and everybody who said that they needed healing. Because there's some people who do require healing, but they don't necessarily need your entire ability. What they need is your guidance, for example. They just need a helping hand to be like, oh, just look in that direction. Great, and they can heal themselves. But if you have an individual who knows how to heal themselves, but they just need a little bit of guidance, but you're doing it for them, you find that you get really drained, right? Because then a crutch or a codependency is then created at that time. So Karen, self-growth when you heal, yes, definitely. And not only that, because when you are projecting your energy out to another individual, you are telling the universe that I need more than just for me, right? So, for example, I'm going to use a monetary example. If you need $10 to heal yourself, the universe is going to give you $10 to heal yourself. But if you're like, I need to heal this other person in the same way, and you're like, okay, so now I need $20, the universe is going to be like, oh, okay, I'm going to give you an extra $10 so that you can give to this person. But now, because you requested that, you're always going to get the extra coming in, right? Until you say, no, I don't want to heal anybody anymore. And then the universe goes, oh, never mind, I will take that back and only give you the $10 again. But for a specific period of time while that healing is going through, you're going to continuously get an extra $10. So, and then when you think about it, you're like, oh, well now, once their healing is done, I'm still getting a continuous $10. Well, I can use that extra $10 to heal another person, or I can use that extra $10 to increase my awareness and my intuition until another person comes along, right? So that's always a perspective to look at it from, too, in terms of energy. Shay, do the work. Yeah, you definitely got to do the work, right? You definitely got to do the work. And you can't avoid it either. So if you do have the natural calling to be a healer, then by all means, it is an intense form of self-study. You got to go to the university of your own being. Okay, so, but still, understanding what does healing actually bring you. Now, to elaborate just a little bit more on that one, yes, you do get the energy in, but also, you also need to find what you enjoy about it. Right? That will strengthen your resolve when the times get hard, right? So and you may think like, okay, or when I was looking at it, I'm like, well, it feels wonderful. I love the fulfillment or the fulfilling feeling of knowing that another person is doing well, right? And I'm like, yes, at the beginning, that was very much so one of the wonderful things that I found joy in healing. However, it has evolved even more since then. And again, this is my experience. When I heal another person, it's not only just having them feel good for that moment, but I know that in the long run, the more they are healed, the more they actually get in touch with themselves, right? And start to do or be their true selves. And that's where I really get a great benefit, because I literally get a giddy kick out of watching people just be themselves. I think that is where you find the most originality in life, the most creativity in life, the most just like, wow, wonderful energy. So that's another reason why I like to heal people, because it makes this game of life, or this experience that we call life, so much more interesting rather than just going by whatever the ego wants to say. Karen, when you ignore your shadow work, yeah, we can't ignore that. And that's going to be another thing that happens, in terms of our troubleshooting section, which I'll get down to. Because it's like, shit. You can't. You gotta sort it out. Shay, at one point I saw myself as a healer, but now I'm not so sure. I feel there's another way to bring something. Right. If that's, and this is the beautiful thing though. There are times when we shift. There are definitely times when we go through, we're like, wow, yes, I want to help other people. And there's other times where we're like, no, I don't want to do it. And that's usually when we're trying to find balance within healing others and healing ourselves. Because there's plenty of times as we grow and evolve that we require more time and attention and care for ourselves. And then we drop back and we're like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. Right? But I can almost guarantee you that at some point, it's like the wave. It's like, yeah, I want to heal. No, I don't want to heal nobody. Yeah, I want to heal. No, I don't want to heal anybody. But Shay, let's see what happens by the end of this and see where we go. Okay, so next point here is, hey, Joy, sweetheart, welcome, honey. Shay, I want to bring my experience and wisdom instead. That is a form of healing, right? Just like I mentioned, healing is not just physically, oh, I'm going to do Reiki on you. Healing comes in so many different ways, or so many different avenues, right? And this is one of the beautiful things, because, for example, I'm sitting here and I'm in no way doing Reiki on anybody. I'm no way doing anything. All I'm doing is sharing my experience and my wisdom, right? Which is internally, for maybe not all of you, but for definitely some of you, I know that that's going to hit part of you where you're like, shit, yes, this resonates and this vibrates. And from that hitting of that certain frequency and vibration, it will allow healing for other areas to come out, right? So it's kind of what we do. as spirits and as hearts and as energetic beings of life. Our energy works on love, or love energy, which is growth and development. It is always moving and always growing, always building. And that's what we do. We grow and we build, right? And we heal, right? But anyway, okay. Next thing to know, right? Step number 3, or part number 3. Your healing, the way you heal an individual is unique to you and no other, right? We can be similar, just like all humans are similar. We have eyes, noses, mouths, hands, legs, bodies, torsos, we all have the same anatomy to a certain extent. So we know we can identify as human, but we are still individuals within our humanness, those of us who identify anyway. So because of that, your healing is very much so the same. Just because there is another healer out there, so for example, I'll give you my example here. Just because I know that there's plenty of claircognizant individuals, there's plenty of empathic, sentient, and Hurriant individuals out there who are using their abilities to, master Reiki practitioners, who use their abilities to heal in whatever way, shape, or form. I, though, recognize that what makes me different as a healer is my collaboration within how I use my individual abilities, how I perceive my abilities, and how I work with them at the same time, right? So I'm saying this part because, again, so many people on this journey, they backtrack or withdraw from their want and energy to help other people because they feel like, oh, I have to be this way or in a specific way, or this is what Jane over at the Reiki Center said, that this is what you require to be a healer. And it's like, well, I'm unique, right? I'm very, very unique. You are very, very unique. Jane cannot tell you how to be a healer. I cannot tell you how to be a healer. The world cannot tell you how to heal because you are unique to yourself as to how you heal others, right? And that uniqueness is so needed in this world. So please, if there's anything that you take away from this, take away that point, right? Whatever it is you do, your unique ability to do it is what is most important. So, step number 4, respect your energy, right? Grow it and protect it. Right? Hey there, Natasha, sweetheart. Oh, welcome. I am also in Calgary. Welcome. I hope to see you at the New Moon Market on the 28th, if you are free. So, respecting your energy is a huge part of healing. And one of the main reasons why it's a huge part of healing is because of everything that we've just mentioned. If you do not respect your energy, then that means that you're not going to understand and fully be open to respecting how you work. And if you don't know, well, not know, but if you don't respect how you work, you will limit your ability. So an example of that would be, I'll give you the example that I had with Orfern. If you don't know who Orfern is one of my very best friends, beautiful spiritually awakened individual. I know a lot of you have spoken to her before or spent time with her before. She's a wonderful, wonderful human being. Now, when we first started hanging out together and, going through things, she was always looking at me and looking at how I heal people because she's very cognizant as well. So she's also a healer of the mind and the heart through understanding and flow. However, when she looked at me and I was like, hey, you really should get your words of wisdom out there because, you got some fire stuff. I know the world needs to hear this and feel this because you have such a miraculous energy to give. And one of the things, and this was a few years back, don't get me wrong, she's much more advanced now. But at that time, she would look at me and just be like, well, I can't do what you do. And I'm like, well, you're not supposed to do what I'm doing. Respect the fact that you do the way that you communicate, the way you have a conversation is the way that you are healing individuals, right? And that's the way it should be for you. And that's the way, like, that's how you're going to get the most benefit out of it. And at first she was a little bit like, well, she felt that it was unimportant, you know, or the way that she was doing it. She's like, well, I'm not, she had an expectation in her mind's eye of what it should, what her ability should be or how it should function. And that didn't help anything. It wasn't until she truly reorganized herself in terms of her thought process and started thinking of herself as, hey, I heal through conversation. That's the way I do it. That's the way my ability works. It's like stepping into a river and flowing. And I thought, you know what? That's fucking fantastic. Right? Because I don't do that. I'm like a rushing waterfall. I'm not a gentle flowing river when it comes to my healing. And sometimes people need a gentle flowing river. And my approach isn't going to work for them. So, that is definitely something to consider. Because as you respect your energy, right? And again, showing a high esteem and regard, you know, and admiration for who you are and the way you do things, this will lead to your growth of your energy and also a more stronger resolve to protect the way that you do things. Meaning, you ain't gonna let anybody tell you that, no, you can't do it this way. Or no, you only have to have a Reiki certification. Or, ooh, no, you can only heal when in meditation doing harm. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying if you heal through Reiki and you heal through meditation, that is amazing the way you do it. But I'm just saying that there's no others. For many people, you can respect the way that you heal and the way that you do things. Okay. Hiya, Yona, sweetheart. Alrighty. So, the next thing about becoming a healer. Practice on yourself first, then practice on other people. Alright? Oh, Shay, quantum healing too. Yes, exactly. There's some people that just go straight into the quantum parts, the cellular parts, the organization of the structure of things, and switch those up, and then everything else heals on the larger scale. You're absolutely right. You know? This is why I love healing. This is why I love this journey, right? There's so many different unique abilities that everybody has. It's so freaking interesting. Please, everybody, get in touch with your heart. You don't realize how interesting you truly are. It's great. Okay. So, but yes, as we were saying, practice on yourself first, and then practice on others. So if you're still quite new to this and you're still quite like, how do I do this? How do I actually do Reiki? Do it on yourself first. You know, if you're having pains inside your vessel, whether they be emotional pains, physical pains, or you're just like, something doesn't feel right, practice focusing on yourself first. You may find that you're like, okay, I'm going to try to think my way out of this. So I'm going to use my cognizance, and I'm going to, you know, get all the information in and so forth. If you getting the information in, which, hey there, Keith, sweetheart, welcome, honey bunny. So if you got the information in, you're just like, okay, my left artery is feeling blocked. I can understand what's happening because my cognizance is telling me what's happening. Now, if you're like, okay, my left artery is blocked, I want that to be cleared. How do I clear it? And then it tells you, your cognizant goes, okay, just focus on it and feel it. And you do so, and it clears, then you'll be like, holy shit, that's how I use my cognizance for healing. However, if you keep thinking about it and you're just like, shit, this isn't working, I'm not doing something right, then you can be like, okay, what does work for me? Well, that doesn't work. I also know I'm an empath. Let me feel the emotion. Oh, I'm feeling something, but it's not hitting me just right here where the pain was. Okay, well, how else can I work this out? Let me try my sentience. Oh, my hand's coming over. It's putting it on there. Oh, that feels better. Oh, okay, I get it now. So I used my cognizance to identify what it was. I used my empathy. It wasn't as strong, but I used my sentience, which guided my hand physically to touch the area that was hurting. And then I felt relief. I've practiced. I know what's happening with myself. Perfect. Keep going. Keep practicing. And then once you've been able to master how you can heal your own self, then you move on to other people. Because then you've found your unique niche as how you do things. Shay, daily chakra work is good practice as well. Yes, definitely. To be honest with you, I think daily practice of anything to do with energy is really helpful, to be fair. So I definitely agree. So I would go from the chakras to the meridian lines to, just feeling your fascial tissues to I'd do all of these things because everything is linked in. But yes, definitely practice that too. Okay. So, Mandolin, I do this. Yes, excellent. One of the main things that I work on mostly in terms of my healing is I do a lot of energy absorption. So one of the main things that I definitely constantly do is I focus on just my energy and on how I feel, and then how I'm just feeling in general. So because I'm an energy transmuter, right, or a fear transmuter, I'm constantly absorbing fear within my radius of my field of energy, which is quite large. So there's a constant feeling of, feeling the world's doom, feeling the world's just heaviness and weight. So I will regularly be like, okay, how do I feel? Okay, I feel the weight. I feel all of those things. I use my empathy, my sentience, my clairvoyancy. I use all my abilities because it's good to do that. And then I switch it and I'm like, okay, now just me, alone me, without anybody else. And I see what the difference is. If I'm feeling just me alone, really, really bright and just like, I feel really at ease, I feel really calm, I feel really, really good, then I know I'm constantly pumping that out to the individuals I'm connected to, right? Or who choose to connect to me as well. However, if I'm constantly feeling down and weighted with the collective, then I will see what I can do to use my empathy to transfer that energy. And so if there's a lot of heaviness, like people going in the wrong direction, I will use my Orstinance to be like, all right, I'm going to make a wish or a will or direct the energy flow so that if we're all feeling down, we're going against our own flow, let's turn ourselves around so we can flow nicely, which will then affect your thoughts, which will then affect everything inside of you, strong emotions to come out and just be like, no, I'm not going to go down this road anymore. I'm going to turn around and do something that makes me feel good, or let go and just say, fuck it. Let's turn around. So yeah, definitely practice these things on a daily basis. That's what I do, but definitely do what feels right for yourself when it comes to your energy work. Okay, so troubleshooting. Now I've already went through a bit of this troubleshooting as well, but let's have a look at some things that a lot of people go through. One thing is giving your empathy, and when I say giving your empathy or giving your energy to others without an exchange will lead to exhaustion. Okay? So meaning and as a lot of us have been studying, of course, energy and so forth, there is always an equal exchange of energy that needs to go through. Right? Always. Does that energy have to be monetary? No. Because monetary currency is just another form of energy. And that is not the only form of energy that we exchange. We exchange energy through our light, through our frequencies. And that could be absolutely anything that is held within us, right? So kind of like file sharing on the internet. Is this a good example? Yeah, I suppose so. So for example, you have a huge file of data on how to heal things, right? Or how to fix a motorcycle. That's the first thing that came into things. So you have a huge file on how to fix a motorcycle. So as you see somebody with a broken motorcycle, you're like, oh, cool. Here, take my file, which will help you on how to fix your motorcycle so you can get back on the road. Well, they, at that point, the energy exchange could be anything. So if they do want to give you a monetary exchange back, great. However, they're also going to give you a file back, which is all of their knowledge on how to ride a motorcycle. It may be a specific type of motorcycle that he has that is new to you. Or it could be a specific a new sort of error or mechanical issue in their motorcycle, which you may be like, wow, I'm used to fixing a lot of super bikes, and this is an older Harley. So although I know how to do it, let me exchange. So what you're giving me is new information that I can put into my file in my data bank, right? I hope the computer analogy kind of works a little bit. I know I switched straight from energy to like mechanics, but that's basically what's happening though. You give them your file and they're going to give you their file back. And if you can find anything new or interesting or something that you can utilize in that energy, right, in their file that they've given back, then the exchange will be completed, right? So that's how the universe is going to do things. If you, though, were to give them your file on this motorbike and they gave you nothing in return, meaning that their file contained all of the same information that you have on your file, except for your file is just more extensive. So it means that they're gaining a lot of information, but you're actually not gaining anything new. So if you're not gaining anything new or anything like that, you will be exhausted by constantly giving out so much of your information or your file. Now I'm thinking, I'm like, oh gosh, was that analogy? Please let me know if that analogy worked for you. But how we're doing that in terms of energy is, like, especially like if I am here speaking to you on healing practices and abilities, as you focus on me, I am exchanging all of my knowledge and information on healing that I have to this day with you at this very moment, right? And you, if you were to sit and focus on it and just be like, what did I actually gain from Kulip in this session, right? And try to get out of your head and feel what you have in here, right? Feel what you need. You will find that you'll have a lot of information. You'll be like, oh shit. As soon as you focus on it, you activate it. Because my abilities are truly yours as you are focusing on me. And what I'm getting out of this is your focus. Because as you're focusing on me, I'm able to now read all of the energy that is going through with all of the individuals focusing on me. So I get, at the moment, 10 people are watching, so I get 10 new files coming through to me, which I will sift through later to see if there's any information that I can gain to keep going or to grow even more, right? However, if, like I said, if everybody that was watching and there was no new information, no new nothing that was in there, then I would be like, okay, I need some sort of exchange for this, right? Otherwise, I'm going to be exhausted and I'm not going to want to do these lives anymore, right? So hence, I still get a lot of stuff because I keep doing this every 3 times a week, right? So it works. So I hope that makes sense. So, Shay, appreciation. Appreciation is a beautiful feeling of energy. When we give appreciation to another individual, what that appreciation means, it's kind of like a confirmation that you've gained something that you've required, right? So when you're giving it back, so it means that you're more likely to use the energy, you're more likely to use the information that you received, which then allows for the exchange to come back into the universe, right? Because that's another thing. You may not, so as you are watching this live and we're exchanging energy right now, you may not have a lot in your file to give me, but if you do show appreciation and gratitude, then the information you're using from this live, you will use it, and then you will go out and heal other people within the most aligned way that you possibly can. And as you do that for other people, the energy goes out into the universe, which then eventually filters its way back to me. It's a little complicated, but it does work. So appreciation is still wonderful. Any gratitude and appreciation will always lead to growth one way or another. And especially if you're forwarding that back to me, that's telling the universe to be like, oh, right, give that woman more things as well, eventually to come up in the timeline or in the flow. So, but Shay, you say, how do I know if I'm providing equal exchange to those that provide to me? And that's a freaking excellent question. You know that you have an equal exchange when after the situation happens, you feel good. You feel at peace, you feel content, you feel fulfilled, or you just feel all right. Kind of the same way, like if you're hungry and you've eaten enough food, you're like, I feel good. I feel content. I feel like this is cool. If this person needs me again, I'm more than happy to share my, to be with them again, right? So you feel good. If you leave a situation with an individual and you feel just like, gosh, I hope I never talk to them again. Or just like, there's a foul taste in my mouth. Or there's just, you just don't feel, you don't feel good, right? Then you'll know that the exchange wasn't equal. So that there needs to be some sort of compensation for what it is that you're going through. Now, a lot of people do this when it comes to their employment or their job, right? A lot of people exchange so much of their energy and they feel drained. They feel like gotta go to work. But the only compensation or the only reason that they get it or they keep doing it is because they get a monetary exchange, which oftentimes still isn't even enough, but it is something to keep them going. When you know you've had a full energy exchange, you feel content, you feel happy, you feel at peace, right? And you're like, okay, I'm good. Sandra, and I feel very appreciative and grateful for your presence and information you've shared with me. Oh, Sandra, I'm so pleased. Then let it rain on, because that's what I do in the background. If you show me love and gratitude and appreciation, I'm like, I will project to you often and give you assistance wherever we need it. So basically, I hang around you and just be like, what you need? Let's get that going. Oh, but I appreciate you. Karen, or not appreciated, right. So if you do something and you don't feel the appreciation, you don't feel the gratitude, you don't feel, like it was, well, don't get me wrong. There's times that, I'll be walking down the street and I will feel somebody who is just, they feel sorrowful in their heart, or they feel stressed, or they feel, like if we're riding the train or something like that, and somebody's just like, they need something, then I will sit over there quietly and just be like, I'm going to give you some Reiki or some healing, right? And they will not know, they will not feel me, they will not show me gratitude or appreciation or anything like that. And that's okay with me, because I have the excess energy and I'm happy to simply flow with them and let them be, so they won't show me gratitude or appreciation. However, if they do take up the energy and start to feel better, they will pass that back on into the universe. And thus, I am grateful, because then the collective doesn't feel as bad, in just general. So yeah, you don't always get the gratitude and appreciation back, but as you share things out, it does come back and circles its way back to you at some point. Undercover healer. Yeah, we do that all the time. It's cool. It depends on how much energy you have. Okay. So another thing that some individuals have trouble with is when they are healers, is you also need to let go of the way you heal as you evolve, right? This is, and you have to be strategic according to your new level of awareness and your new level of healing, or your level of energy. So, prime example, I will give myself on this one. When I first started my healing journey, and if I were to physically heal somebody or to go inside their vessel and kind of look, I would have to sit there and be really focused. I would have to literally just be like, okay, first I'd have to focus to feel, and then I'd be like, okay, now I have the general area or the buzz around. So I remember there's this individual who I was on a live, and he wanted some help healing, and he's just like, can you show me what's wrong? And I was just like, oh, well, yeah, like because I was feeling it, I'm like, yeah, your stomach, but I'm like, there's also something in your leg, but I would have to sit there and really focus, right? And then he told me, oh, well, I had an operation, or I had an accident on my leg like 20 years ago. Nobody's ever known about this. I'm surprised you picked it up. And I'm like, well, yeah, it still needs repair. But I had to sit there and focus for so long just to gain the basic of information, right? As I evolved, as I grew, I found that the way that I would sit and focus for so long, it was like zooming in really, really, like if I was like, oh, something's wrong with my hand. And as I evolved, it would be like, okay, I wouldn't just see somebody's hand anymore. It would be like zooming into right here, which when you zoom in, that's what it looks like. And of course, you'd be like, well, what am I seeing? What is this? What is this? You know? And it got me confused because at the time I wasn't aware that. I was like, holy shit. Oh, if I focus on somebody's like a part that's uncomfortable for a really long time, it's like zooming in really, really, really fast. And then I got confused. So I'm like, oh, I only need to focus for a half second, right? So instead of, oh, what's wrong with my hand? Whoosh, right? It would just be like, what's wrong with my hand? I'd be like, focus, oh, stop. Ah, that's where it is. So the information was coming to me really, really quickly. So I had to adjust to my own evolution and let go of the fact that, no, I don't have to sit there and focus for 10 to 15 minutes. I can take a step back and just be like, oh, this is what it is, right? It kind of made me, it was a little scary at the beginning because when I was evolving, I thought my abilities there was something wrong with me or that I was losing them. I was just like, oh no, I can't heal the people the way I normally heal them anymore. Like, what do I do? What is it like, you know, and I was kind of going in, I'm a Leo, the dramatics come in sometimes. I'm like, so because of that, it gave me a lot more, I snapped out of it clearly. It was only for a short period of time because I'm like, no, clearly I have to keep going. But now, if I go from then to now, to be fair, the focus that is required to heal an individual is very, very minute, you know, and it doesn't go just with one. So if somebody said, hey, there's something wrong with my hand, if I focus on them for, you know, just like a couple of minutes now, because before I may have had to focus on them for 10 to 15 minutes just to find what was wrong with the hand. Now, if I focus on you for 10 to 15 minutes, I'll find out what's wrong with your hand, what's wrong with everything else in your vessel, and already have the energy to formulate and then to change it and shift it and do all that kind of stuff. So, which makes the job easier. It's like getting an upgrade in equipment, you know? Like, just think of when your phone upgraded, and it's no longer just like, you know, where you get Snake and stuff, and now you got color, and now you got your little computer in your hand, and you can do so much more stuff, and it's so much easier. That's basically what it is. So if you find that on your journey you're like, wow, I was healing everybody, but now it doesn't work anymore, that's because you've evolved. So it's not that it doesn't work, it's that it's working really well. So now you focus on the things that require a little bit more of your your energy, or the next thing that's to be upgraded, you know. Oftentimes that could be the simultaneous use of your abilities all together. So if you're used to pinpointing and being like, I'm going to use my empathy first and feel, and you're isolating empathy, and then you're like, now I'm going to use my sentience, and then you isolate sentience. Now I'm going to use my clairvoyancy and my cognizance, and you isolate each one. Well, now your part of evolution is to use all of them together simultaneously, right? And that's where you're going to be like, oh, snap. I get the bigger picture, I feel things more, I understand things more, and it happened instantly, rather than with a shit ton of focus, because you've grown, and you don't require that much focus. Karen, you forever changing your energy, which means your healing changes too. Exactly. I love it. Joyce, I was doing that today. Excellent. Good. Let's all keep going. All right. So for the last 10 minutes, let's talk about the transition that happens. Because if you were like me, before I became a healer myself, and when I was looking at like what kind of healer I am, I'm a healer of the hearts and minds. Although, yeah, we could do everything else, but you know, you guys know what I do. Anyway, before that, I was a workaholic. I worked a job. I worked in my business that I had, and we all know this. And so when I was transitioning from, Christy, I saw a blue flash when you said they are all working together. Yeah, express that shit together. And you'll also find that you may envelop a beautiful blue aura, a blue and green aura within your energy when you are healing. That's what always happened with me. It was always a blue or so forth as I was expressing so many different bits. So, yeah, I'm not surprised. Okay. But yes, anyway, when I was going through the transition of I want to heal, this is what I really enjoy. I enjoy connecting with people. I want to do this. I'm happy healing myself, and I'm just happy sharing my experiences. But I also have my job here. What do I do? So, firstly, when it comes to making a living or making the transition, number one, you do not have to. Oh, my phone is about to die. Let me plug in the charger. There we go. Are we charging? Yes. Okay. So that's definitely one thing to note, is that you do not have to be a healer full time. Nobody says that you have to do this forever, or that it is something that you must do. Like Shay, as you were saying, like, I don't know if I want to do that. No, you do not have to. Well, your main purpose on this planet, in this existence in this universe, is to simply be. All right. Healing other people is a byproduct of you being yourself. All right. It's what we naturally do. Just the same way when deer poops, it just being itself, that deer poop fertilizes the first ground and helps microorganisms and everything else grow and so forth, right? It's simply doing what it's doing, but it's helping things, right? You are doing the same thing. Sorry, not trying to say that you're pooping or what you do, or comparing your excrement to your healing abilities or what you do, but that is what is happening. It is a byproduct of you being yourself, first and foremost. So that's for those individuals out there who are like, my whole purpose in life is a healer. That's what I thought my purpose was too. I ain't gonna lie. A couple of years back, if you look at my videos, I would have said, my purpose is to heal the hearts and minds of mankind. No. My purpose is to be myself. And I enjoy healing the hearts healing the minds and hearts of mankind. That is my byproduct of me being myself. So that's what I do. Right? So, if you are making that transition, again, you can do this on a part-time basis, or you can do it on a full-time basis. It's whatever is most resonant with yourself. Now, do you need a certification for being a healer? No, you do not. Going back up into the first points, meaning your healing is unique to just yourself. Like your thumbprint, your healing, the way you do things is very unique to yourself. Nobody can certify you as to how you heal with your own energy, because nobody is able to know you the way you know yourself, right? So, and this is for, and don't get me wrong, if you are like, well, I'm taking a Reiki course, or I'm getting a practitioner, or I am a master practitioner of Reiki, that's so cool. Hey, if you went out and you got that knowledge and it's helping you, then go on with your bad self. But you do not need a certification to be a healer. It does, what a certification does is it makes people feel better, because we have been trained and indoctrinated to gain information about ourselves from other people, right? We have been indoctrinated to not trust ourselves in the way that we work, because that's just the way we have been indoctrinated to do, so that we are constantly seeking outside of ourselves, which then keeps us in a lower frequency if we're constantly doing that, which is a mass part of the manipulation that's been going on in the age of Pisces. So again, you do not need it. You can, by all means, but as long as you know who you are, your abilities, how to work them, and how you've healed yourself, you can go out there and help and heal individuals with your energy the best way you know how to heal yourself. Every little bit helps, right? Even a 2-year-old, or not even, let's say a 3-year-old or 4-year-old in daycare, if they see one of their friends fall and they don't know how to do first aid, they don't know how to get the rubbing alcohol and to clean up the scratch on the knee, what they'll do is they'll be like, oh, I kiss it better. And that is a beautiful part of emotional healing. And that 3-year-old or 4-year-old doesn't need a certification in order to do that. All right. So I think I've made my point. I really have to make my point on that one. But yes, you can, but you don't have to. how much, and this is another thing, because this is another question that really comes along, is how much do I charge for this then? Because I know I need to make a living. I know I need to gain from this, but I don't want to, and there's a lot of conflict, because there's going to be a lot of people on one end going, you shouldn't charge for this. It's not like, if you truly are a light worker or healer, you should be doing these things for free. And then you have on the other side, you'll have people that go, oh, but you need to eat too. You need to. I'm happy to give you this kind of exchange for your service and for your abilities. And to be fair, to be honest, it is totally up to you, right? Any ability that comes from the heart, whether it be your art, this is something, let's say if you're a business owner and you're just like, I have a product or I have a service that I want to put out there and I don't know how much to charge, every single industry or somebody who creates something from their heart has a hard time with this, right? And one of the main reasons why we have a hard time with this is because we're struggling, or we're trying to balance the fact that we want to share this with everybody because we enjoy it. But at the same time, we need to eat, right? Because we still live in, unfortunately, a society that requires monetary funds. So when you're asking how much should I do that, this is where, have a look at, again, knowing who you are and your abilities that you hold, what you are capable of doing, because you understand why you want to do it. You've practiced on yourself. You've practiced on others. 3, you respect your energy. You know what goes, how much time and effort and so forth that you've put into this, right? You understand all of these things. So I recommend go with whatever feels appropriate for you, And for some of you, you may just be like, I don't actually charge in terms of monetary value, because I did that for a while. I was just like, you can give me back whatever it is that you like. Sometimes I would be like, and I accept fruit. I really like those cherries, or I like a melon, or I like give me some fruit. And I was perfectly happy with that. I was off grid at the time, so yeah, seeds were wonderful, and it was nourishing, because that's what I'd spend my money on anyway, is fruit. So I'm like, yo, you can give me that too if you want to. Other times I'd be like, hey, just give me a donation. Other times it would be, nope, I'm cool. I don't need anything. Just this experience was wonderful enough. So when it comes to trying to put a value on yourself, it can be very difficult. I recommend don't look at other individuals, right? Just know in your heart that you are priceless. So whatever that you are receiving is really, truly a gift, right? Because, honestly, I want you to think, if somebody was carrying emotional trauma for 50 years, or even, maybe not 50 years. If somebody was carrying emotional trauma around for the last 10, 15 years, right? And they spent a session with you, or they spent some time with you, and you were able to just talk to them and have a wonderful conversation and so forth, and you were able to lift that energy from their heart space, how can we put a price on that, really? How could I say, oh, that's worth $10 or $100 or $5,000 or $10,000? It is truly priceless, right? So don't put a value on yourself. Now you may be like, but Kulipa, you put a value, you put a price on your bits. Well, yeah, because I am also in total awareness of the effort and, all of the things that I'm doing in the background as well. So, and that's what I feel is appropriate at this time. So that's what I do. So you do the same thing. So go through the effort, go through all of those bits, and see what it is that you're like, if I were to approach an individual like me, what would I find reasonable? And there you go. And that's it. Not based on anybody else, not based on whatever it is, but what would you find reasonable if you were to come to a person like yourself? That is if you are making the transition of wanting a compensation, a physical or material compensation, right? But if you're just like, nope, that's fine. I don't need it. Then, go on with your bad self and be cool. Because either way, the universe always gives it back, right? So like I say, if somebody gives me $50 for a 30-minute session, truly in terms of energy, they're getting a colossally larger amount. So it's kind of like, oh, I will take the $50 and I will also take the new experience and the information, and that will be an equal exchange. However, yeah, whatever else, I'm like, that's equal to me. But anyway, so that is what I have for you in terms of becoming a healer, if that is truly what you want to do. Now, again, if you don't know who you are or what your abilities are, I have a few videos. Pop onto my YouTube channel. There should be some uploaded videos on there, troubleshooting your abilities, trying to understand them a little bit more. And I definitely do have a lot more of the older classes to have a look at to help you discover who you are and what you can actually physically do. How unique you are, and this will also be in terms of how unique you are and so forth, and why you want to heal others. Truly get into yourself and understand that as well. Like, really look at the bigger picture. So, but there are definitely many classes that are going to help you out on this one as well as respecting yourself. When it comes to practicing, if you do, I definitely encourage everybody to put themselves out there. And if you're like, I really need to practice, don't be scared about asking somebody, hey, do you mind if I just practice a little bit of energy healing on you? Most people are going to be like, sure, you know. And you can be like, I promise nothing, but I'm just going to practice. This is what I found. Did you feel that? Yes, I did. Wonderful. Great experience. So don't be afraid to practice and put yourself out there on that one. And just remember to take care of yourselves. And of course, if you have any trouble and you want to know how you, or if you need my assistance or my advice in any way, then please either send me a message or pop onto my website, which is in the description box above, and let's have a session and let's see how or where we need to go from here to help you out. But that is it for me. Thank you ever so much. Have a wonderful rest of your Sundays, you guys. Take care of yourselves. And yes, happy full moon and manifestation. I'm going to put that in there if you're still watching. My Orston's flow is getting very, very strong. Well, it's always strong, but stronger. So make a manifestation with me. Sit in your heart space and just be like, what do you want? I want you to ask yourself, what do you want, and know why you want it. And I will be standing right next to you. And as soon as you have discovered that, or you know exactly what you want and why you want it, I will touch your heart space and let's get that timeline to you. Be wary, though, that if you are like, I want to sit on the beach with margaritas and I don't want to work and I just want to be free, then yes, be comfortable when everything falls down that doesn't align with that. So if you don't want to work, don't be surprised if more opportunities come where you stop working. All right? But just know you're going to be all right. All right. Love you guys. Mwah. Bye, sweethearts.